Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to Orica Talks, the penultimate Orica Talks at the 12th edition of Orica Kuwait, which is organized by Hospitality News Middle East in partnership with Leaders Group and Odema Consulting Services, the leading provider of consulting services for hotels, restaurants, spa, and real estate projects. These sessions aim to shed light on hot topics in the industry, from food tech to women shaping gastronomy in Kuwait, a session we had yesterday. So please do follow Hospitality News Middle East and tag us in your stories. I would like to kick off by introducing our moderator, Mr. Naji Mouros, who's the founder and managing partner of Odema Consulting Services. Naji will be moderating our talk this afternoon, which is on Nourishing Success, unveiling Kuwait's diverse food and beverage supplier landscape. It proves to be a very interesting discussion. I'd just like to mention that unfortunately, Ms. Dana Al-Salem of Sadir Farms could not be with us today, but we do have three amazing panelists, so I'm sure it will be a great conversation. I'm just going to introduce everybody so you get to know them better. We have Mr. Hani Merai with us. He's the CEO, FMCG, F&B companies for Al Babtain Group. Hani is a senior executive with around 25 years of multifunctional experience in FMCG and F&B. His recent success as CEO of Al Babtain Group in Kuwait, in fully transforming the organization and boosting the group's shareholder value to unprecedented levels, stems from his wide experience in management, marketing, sales, new product development, and business development.
Thank you.
Next, yeah. Next, we have Mr. Antoine Obeid, Regional Managing Director for Farmland General Trading Company. Farmland is an entrepreneurial venture that started in 2006 by Antoine. After many years of proven success in introducing multiple international brands into the Kuwaiti market, he decided it was time to create Farmland, a high-end, all-natural consumer products brand. And last but not least, we have Mr. Gabriel Faraoun, the COO of Mohammed Nasser Al-Hajeri and Sons Limited. Gabriel has 35 years of experience in the industry. His vision and passion have significantly contributed to the development of the FMCG division in the company, helping it become among the top five FMCG distributors in Kuwait. There will be a Q&A at the end of the session, so I encourage you all to ask your questions. And on that note, I'd like to hand over to Naji to start the conversation. Thank you, Naji.
Thank you, Lisa. Good afternoon, everyone. So we're gonna do an open discussion. You can, add whatever you feel necessary. We'd like to understand more about the supply in the food and beverage market, but not only. We, of course, will discuss a little bit the retail also. So maybe you start, Hani, if you can give us some figures, or I know you don't like figures, all of you, but we try to, you push the button on.
Test. No, I do like figures a lot, but unfortunately in the HoReCa sector, the numbers are a bit lacking. So, you have, when it comes to the retail sector, you're more into, there are lots of audits with international organizations, but with the HoReCa specifically, it's a bit loose if you want. So I know we were discussing a bit imports versus local produce and so on. So just to give you a sense, a bit of numbers if you want. So GCC in general, 85% of the consumed foods are imported. That's GCC wide. Now, when it comes to Kuwait, it's, I believe the estimate is a bit more than 90%. That said, I mean, probably the three of us, the companies that we operate in, most of the, or if not 100% of the items and the brands are imported. So here is the starting point. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, local production has been lagging for the past few years. That's why we rely more on imports, and it makes more economic sense.
Tony, what about the F&B versus the retail? Do you have some figures or?
Actually, the figures here in Kuwait is not correct figures, but from company to company, it will be the figures different. For sure, some companies, they have the retail business. It can be 70, 60% compared to the HoReCa business. In my business, I have 60-40, 60 HoReCa and 40 retail. That's mean it's not the retail, it's not growing. Yeah, it's growing, but we have a big issue in the retail, which is mean you couldn't increase your price for the last 5 years. So it's make the retail business for us, it's declining. And in the same times, there is a lot of restaurants. You know, in Kuwait, there is no any entertainment. The entertainment mainly is restaurants, outdoor, what's there? Restaurants, hotels, that's the point. So the business in HoReCa, it's growing because the number of restaurants is growing. At the same time,
we heard yesterday that we have 12,000 restaurants in Kuwait.
Yes, it's a big number. Compared to the number of population, it's the biggest number in the whole GCC. If you compare to the number of population. So that's you cannot take the HoReCa, it is 80, 70 or something. From company to company, the figures is different, and that's it.
Okay, Gabi, do you have something to say about that? The figures and the percentage of F&B versus retail?
Of course. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course I do. Actually, it varies also by brand. So if you take brands like, sometimes there are brands who are fully dedicated for retail. Sometimes you have brands more into HoReCa rather than retail. So if I give you an example, when it comes to coffee, to espresso, whatever, so you see the bulk of the sales goes to food service. When you go to canned food, to other products, then you see the bulk goes to the other side. It depends on the companies and how the companies are structured. For us as Al-Hajri, we're much stronger in the retail, to tell you frankly. I would say like maybe 15% of our sales go to food service, and more than 85% goes to retail. And this again, because of the quality of the brands that we deal with. Let me give you an example. If you take Indomie, for instance, Indomie is fully retail and it's 100%. If we take Illy, it's 80% food service. You know, so it depends from one brand to the other. But back to the number of restaurants, maybe you're talking about the number of restaurants here, but if you talk about food service in general, I would say we have much more than this. If you go to coffee shops, to kiosks, to you have, I mean, loads of, I mean, the numbers are much bigger than this in Kuwait.
Do you have a figure? Do you have?
Not really. One time I've heard Mr. Najia over a team call was saying like the food service number of the food service outlets in Kuwait is more than 100,000. I don't know from what is this figure, but it was like, oh, it was a big figure. But it was like considering everything, including holes in the walls to hotels, you know, catering services, you know. And again, if we go back to the industry itself, we have a big channel which we shouldn't neglect from now onward, the e-commerce. E-commerce is contributing big time to to the development of the industry also, especially after COVID, when we had all the food service and the restaurants closed. I mean, e-commerce took a big chunk of the operations.
You mean in your companies you developed an e-commerce platform?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, for the B2B.
Actually, yeah, B2B and B2C.
B2C also.
Yeah. And this started way before. I mean, we started it before COVID. I mean, all of you know that one of the big e-commerce platforms started in Kuwait, which was Souk.com at that time. Souk.com started in Kuwait, and then it was bought by Amazon. And so Kuwaitis have tendency to buy from the e-commerce channel. And this was much more developed during COVID, and it's maintaining, and it's going more than double. I mean, I can say double-digit growth year on year.
So you have your own e-commerce platform in the company, or you use aggregators?
We do share in one of the platforms. Yes, we're 50% shareholders in one of the platforms, and we all the major ones are our customers. Although we're partners in terms of customer, like supplier and customer, with many of with the big ones at least.
Honey?
Again, fully aligned with Gabi's point. E-commerce has been gaining momentum since COVID, and it goes both ways. So each company in Kuwait, I believe the big distributors, they have their own platform, but the bulk of the business when it comes to e-commerce, it goes through the e-tailers. And Kuwait has been, as Gabi rightly said, it's been leading this area or this channel specifically since the beginning. Souk.com, now we have several others like Talabat, like Drops, like Jam'iyya, and many e-commerce platforms that's been gaining momentum. And some of them, they went also regional. But going back to the categories, going back to the contribution of business with retail and F&B and the challenges that we're facing. It depends on the category, as the guys said. So one category you can find it 95%, the other contribution in the food service, the other is, and vice versa. It depends on the brand, it depends on the
no clear figure.
Exactly. So that's why you cannot give you, so more or less we're like 20% of the business goes to the HoReCa, 80% retail in general, but again it depends on the category. Now in terms of performance, retail, as the guys said, most of the categories that we read figures on, they're declining, unfortunately. And these are, the reasons are I believe two. One is the unfavorable macroeconomic conditions. So recently Kuwait has been facing challenges.
Let's come back just to that just a second, because I need to ask Tony. Tony, you are you using e-commerce? Because I know also that you created a retail. You're not only an importer and a distributor of as a supplier farmland, but you also have a retail shop. So how come you're not competing with your own clients, or why did you choose to create a retail shop?
Actually, when we talk about the e-commerce, we are all the same. We have our own e-commerce and we use the others in the same time. But when we talk about retail shops, when we talk about the cheese, la maison du fromage, okay, e-commerce, it can serve you with certain items, but the rest of the business, let's say it can serve you with 15, 20 items, you know them, and you can choose it and you can buy it. But the retail shopper, it is the point where the customers, they go, they taste, they choose, and they had to have a knowledge. We are serving more than 300 different type of cheeses, so from more than 8-9 countries. To serve all this, the people, they doesn't have all the knowledge about cheese. Even with my experience, always I found a new product, a new cheese, so the customers, they like to come to see, to taste, to buy. That's the point. You cannot make all your business on e-commerce. E-commerce today, it can be more in the retailer. When you talk about electronics, you can talk about even fashion. It's growing more in the e-commerce. But in our business, In the retail, it's not that big.
Gabi and Hani, do you have B2C? I mean, shops, retail shops, for your brands, or you work only on a B2B on e-commerce?
We do, and we compete as well. So yes.
Can you give us names of brands?
So we one of the companies that we manage is the F&B arm, which is the retail shops. So we have the Lavazza coffee design shops, and
So you have shops.
Yes,
you have Lavazza
retail
shops in
yes,
Kuwait,
yes.
And this is the only product that you sell on a B2C.
It's a franchising business. So
Yeah.
yes, correct. So direct to the consumers. Yes, this is the.
And Ili, same.
It's not Ili. We are as I didn't mention to you that in Hajri we're like 9 divisions. We are in healthcare, we are in home appliances, we are in cosmetics, and we are in FMCG. And on top of this, we are in the F&B. So in F&B, we have more than seven brands. We do Illy as distribution, and we operate.
No, my question was related to the brands that you distribute.
Yeah.
And if you have a B2C, I know you have restaurant at Hajri, but for example, Illy, do you have a shop like Lavazza?
Of course, this is what I was saying. So we distribute Illy, and we have we operate coffee shops for Illy. Same with Häagen-Dazs. We distribute Häagen-Dazs also, and we have coffee shops for Häagen-Dazs. And lately, we discovered that there is a potential. Somebody's laughing here. The manager of our Prime Selection store. Prime Selection is a store that we launched like a couple of years back. We thought that there is a need to like train baristas, train mixologists in the business where we are. So we developed a shop in Shweikh where we bring these people from the industry to train them in our shops for the new trends, for the new cocktails and all this. And again, we sell from the shop to the B2B and to the B2C. And lately also we opened an app for the shop. So we're we went a bit further in this field also.
So Hani, now we can talk about the global consumption. You're saying that all categories are decreasing. Are Kuwaitis and expats in Kuwait eating less?
I can tell you about the total market. Maybe if someone from the retail here, they can give us some numbers. But at least the categories that we work with, that we compete in, and we read their figures, yes, unfortunately, if not fully 90% of them are declining. And we read a lot. So
can you give us some figures, a percentage?
So it's anywhere between -4 to -10, 11%, and it's been going on for a few years, unfortunately. Yes.
Every year it's a drop off.
And we have food and non-food as well, and it applies to both. So I'll give you an example. So the latest data that we were reading is on water. So water is an excellent indicator of the macroeconomic condition as well as the demographics of the country as well. So the latest data we have, the water category, and this is, we're talking bottled water, right? And that's the highest penetrated product, I would say, when the consumer goods category, water, bottled water. The bottled water is down by 6% in value and -1% in volume. So
since last year? Or?
Since this is around a year and a half ago versus the previous year. But again, the trend we've seen from our internal numbers as well, they've been challenged. And I think we all feel the pressure, the macroeconomic pressure on our industry. So that's why the way forward has been for the past few years. So again, we cannot sit and do nothing about it. At the contrary, it helps us even compete even further, because the way to grow is to eat market share from each other.
Yeah, but when you say it's decreasing, you're talking about the global market. So it's not a competition.
The category, the category.
The whole category is people are drinking less water.
That's it. Two factors. So one, people are so if you used to go and drink Saha, we have Saha for instance. They're downgrading to, I don't want to mention any other brand, but they're downgrading to cheaper brands. So this is where the value is going down. Second is the consumption is going down because the demographics are changing. So you see lots of families, unfortunately, leaving Kuwait. So the per capita consumption also is going down in volume. So in thousands of liters also, we have a decline. So these factors are playing against the growth of the industry in general. So the way forward is, unfortunately or fortunately, is to gain share, to be able to grow or to innovate.
So fierce competition.
Very. And it's becoming even more
This is
challenging every year.
This is what I want to say. Fierce competition. Even to talk to our friend Hani here, if you go to any retail outlet, like take Sultan for instance, go check the category of water there. I mean, 10 or 15 years back, we used to have see 6, 7, 8 brands. Now it's tens of brands there, and every other week you have a new brand on the market. So again, I think part of this is the fierce competition. Same with the coffee, Hani. I mean, when we started like with Illy more than 20 years back,
but we're giving you,
there were 2, 3
we're keeping
brands.
you upbeat. We're giving you a hard time on Illy.
Pardon?
We're keeping you upbeat.
Man, this is the fierce competition, by the way.
I have to be in between to not be in the.
No, I mean,
So
this is the fierce competition.
لا, but sorry, Tony.
So I am here to be in
لا,
the
لا,
peace
نحن
between
أصلاً
of you
Judge, you're
guys.
the judge.
Yeah, I'm a judge.
You know, this is a very valid point. I mean, what keeps us going is this competition. So I want the competition, because if there is no competition, it doesn't drive us internally to develop and grow.
Let me understand. Let the audience understand. You're saying that the brands are increasing, so we have more brands. So the whole category should increase, not decrease. So are you talking about the imported brands are decreasing only, or the whole consumption of water? Maybe we have some local production that is taking over.
And I will talk about the coffee. I'm not into the water.
Let me give you a water. So yes, there are more factories opening up in Kuwait about and relatively low value water, because it's local production. So if you look, just to give you a sense of all the imported waters, not a single imported brand has more than 1% market share of the category. But again, that's in volume. In value, it makes more sense. So it's much higher.
Okay.
And because we deal with big brands, premium brands. So, and importation also, water is different.
So
I don't want to go into the details.
We're still drinking water, طمنا يعني, but we're drinking a different water and probably a local water. What about coffee, Gabi? And then we go to cheese.
I was gonna talking about the coffee here. It's not only the brands. Now in the market, we see local brew, not local brews, but local
specialty coffees.
Like
local producers,
local entrepreneurs who bring their own coffee, their own single origin coffees, and this market is this segment of the market is developing big time in Kuwait. And you see like loads of Kuwaitis going, like young entrepreneurs buying their own, like importing their own single origin brands and developing it across. One of them is Arabica, one of the names. I would say it's a great experience.
So again, I mean, we deal with premium.
We need to ask the judge a question.
He moves into dairy. He's the expert in dairy. But again, when it comes to coffee, we see lots of, and this applies, I think, to all categories, Gabi, right? And you see more, not brands, I would say, I mean, imports or private labels coming from outside, and they constitute a big chunk of the market. So when we look at Illy, Lavazza, where we compete in the food service or the HoReCa segment, maybe it's in the 50-40% of the coffee consumers or customers, because we're at a certain level of value that these target only applies to. And unfortunately, the market is moving. So this is another trend, if you want. So we all see the trend moving towards more, I would say, moving away from premium to more cost-effective solution, especially if the customer is a tier 2 customer, tier 3.
And this is a worldwide trend, no?
Correct. It doesn't mean that there is no market there, but it's becoming more difficult to compete. That's why we need to operate differently, and we need to be agile and innovative, and this is what the premium brands are all about.
Mr. Judge.
Actually, today, not today, the last year and this year, there is a big inflation. So especially I'm talking in Kuwait. The cost of goods, it's raised up 25 to 30%. But the salary in the same time is still in the same salary. So almost whoever he is earning 1 kd, but the value of 1 kd is 750 fils. So this difference is make that issues in everything, in coffee, in water, in cheese. The purchasing power is not the same as before. This is one of the big reasons. So the family who has earning, let's say, 100 kd, he used to go out at least with his family to have a coffee, to have a lunch outside. So today he will say, I have to go twice or once a month. This is decreasing. Even the family, when they go to shopping in the retail, in the same time, he was, okay, ask the kids, the family, whatever you want this, he will buy it. But today there is a list. He will look for the offers, cheapers, and then the basket, it should be not more than 50 kd, whereas in the past he was spending 70, 80, or 100 kd. So behind all this story is the
buying
issues.
power.
In the same times also, when you have all this, the war around, and this the bad news and environment, it's not healthy. So even the people, they are unhappy to go outside and do whatever they do, and they feel, you know, the others in Gaza or in Yemen or whatever, they are dying, they are suffering, they are. So all this is, it's affect badly, negatively to
geopolitical.
that's the geopolitics. That's the point. I don't want to talk about politics, but this is the.
Let's go back to the products in Kuwait. What are the star items? Do we have star items in Kuwait? Do we have? I mean, cheese is definitely. It's surprising that Kuwaitis consume so many cheeses, 300 kinds. But I mean, we discussed that. But what are the star items in Kuwait? And is Kuwait different from the GCC in terms of consumption and supply?
So in terms of usage and habits, they're not much different. But in terms of consumption, yes. So at least the categories that we compete in. So if you look at the energy drink, for instance, we're into energy drinks. So it's the highest consumption per capita in the world, not only in the GCC. When you talk processed cheese, same thing. It's the highest consumption per capita. Confectionery, highest consumption per capita in the world. That's why you see lots of obesity. In the world. Sparkling water. So we have Perrier, we have San Pellegrino. Again, one of the highest consumption per capita in the world. So I'm not going to share numbers of bottles that we sell, but it's multiples of the population of Kuwait. So when you look per capita, when you compare it to other countries in the world, it is, if not the highest, one of the highest. And it applies to many other categories, maybe that the guys, maybe they compete in or they work with. So this is what differentiates a bit Kuwait from other markets when it comes to consumption. Now, usages and habits, I don't see much difference versus other GCC countries.
But this contradicts what Tony just said, because if the consumer is spending...
لا بالعكس, and I agree with this is different. So this is consumption per capita, but it doesn't mean that the consumption per capita is not being reduced.
Yeah, it's decreasing, but still it's the highest in the world.
Correct. So disposable income is getting a hit, as Tony rightly said so. Plus the fact that the consumer sentiment with the recent, geopolitical issues are affecting the overall consumption.
Gabi, do you think Kuwait has specific needs or...
and I want to elaborate a little bit here. Please. Kuwaitis are one of the people that travel a lot. They travel a lot. Kuwaitis in summer, most of the time they're out of Kuwait, and they travel everywhere. So they're exposed. One of the people who's exposed to many cultures. So this is why, by traveling a lot, they come back with with like knowledge from other cultures and from other cultures trends, as I can say. So this is why you can see some trends like picking up in Kuwait, like the better for you. Better for you is a new trend that is picking up in Kuwait, talking about organic, vegan, health watchers. So yeah, you see some categories, although they're still
Growing,
niche, but they're growing fast. And yeah, well, I mean, wherever they are traveling, they come with the knowledge, with the exposure that they get from there, and ask for these products here. So I would say it's like any country in the region, any population in the region.
So similar to the GCC.
Yeah.
Tony, when you got the idea of importing the cheeses, was it from a need from Kuwait, or you created the demand? I mean, and this is a question for the three of you. Do you import products and then you sell them on the market, or you feel that you have some demand that is coming from outside or from restaurant or from and then you will start importing? So what about the cheese?
Yani, when I want to talk about this point, I have to go back to 46 years, and now they will know my age. So it's not good to mention it. Actually, we used to have this same in Kuwait in the 70s, when we have a Mas'ad supermarket in that time. So we was mostly we are alone in Kuwait market, serving all the cheese. We have a weekly plane with all the varieties of cheese, caviar, sumo, and all this foie gras, etc. In the same times, Kuwait, it was the main hub for all the GCC and even for Iraq. All the embassies, they used to send a truck with a cooler to make shopping for all the cheese and these varieties to Iraq embassies, to Riyadh and Dammam and all this. And in that time there's no Dubai as Dubai today, or Qatar or whatever. So even from that time, it is in my mind. I know, why not? I will back and I will do something. I love it. Cheese, it's in my blood. It is not something, I didn't open the cheese shops or La Maison de Fromage because I want to, I want to earn money as much as I want to make my hobby there. Wherever passion, yeah. And my hobby, it's also too, the passion and the hobby, in to sit and to be around the cheese. Cheese is like a family for me. So wherever who ask me, are you traveling to where? I'm traveling to kiss the cow and the sheep and the goat, and to see what there is behind them. So I'll give you for an example, Mr.
I don't want to travel with you, Tom.
Yeah, don't travel with me. So there's a point behind that. One day I was in the exhibition. This is like 4 years back. There's Mr. Beignet, Emmanuel Beignet, the owner of Lactalis Group. So they are the biggest group worldwide. When I went there, I went to the Salon de Culinaire for the dairy product. I asked, where is he? He said he is not here. You can find him in the other place. Where's the cow and the sheep and the goat and everything? I went there. The guy, he is turned over 30 billion and sitting in front of those animals. I asked him, why you are here, you are not there? He said, I will go always to see from where the milk is coming to get that cheese. So that's why it's important to go and kiss the cow and kiss the goat and
Good luck.
So this is as I said, passion, as a hobby, and that's why
But
it's.
My question was, do you created the demand by innovating, by introducing this quantities, qualities of cheese?
Yes, I changed the market.
Yeah.
With this, I changed the market. Even a lot of customers, Kuwaiti or non-Kuwaiti, always they come and say, thank you. You let us know more about the cheese. to let us buy the cheese from here, because many people, they was carrying the cheese by back from France, from Swiss, from Italy. I make the halfway for them to buy it from Kuwait. In the same time, I'm changing the market, because people, they know the cheese is on the shelf in the retail, or by kilo they buy it in the cheese island. But today it's totally different. The consumptions, the people, they know more and more, and they know how it's healthy. Because when you are talking about fresh cheese, you are talking about the aged cheese, it's a keto. So it's the benefit behind that price you paid for that cheese. It's a big benefits.
Gabi, and then Hani, do you do the same? Do you innovate? Do you create demand?
And I would
Or
say,
you follow trends?
and I would say it's both. You follow trends. Sometimes there are trends in the market that you feel that there is potential in investing in. There you follow. And sometimes traveling abroad and visiting all these fairs abroad and seeing what's coming up there, you feel that something is cooking and could come to Kuwait. Then again, also it depends on how much you're willing to invest in this. Like if I take, for example,
Give us examples.
the Better For You entity, the Better For You is an example. I mean, now it's becoming a trend worldwide. In the States, now they have exhibitions for Better For You. When I say Better For You, I mean the brands related to gluten-free, to organic, to vegan, all these the healthy trend, you know. In Kuwait, it's gaining ground big time. So, but again, when we started it like a couple of years back, I mean, we were losing at that time, but we were willing to lose and investing in it, seeing that we want to be like proactive and seeing it coming the next years to come, you know. So this is like being proactive. From other sides, like if I take the beverages, we're further developing our brands in the beverages, because also here we see a demand. So you have both. You see a demand, you answer the demand, and sometimes you be proactive in other areas.
Hani?
Yes, I mean, it's both. It's usually innovation, or the trends are somehow mostly imported. But again, when I say imported, they have to be also they need to resonate with the customers, with the consumers. So you cannot import something that does not resonate locally. As Gabi mentioned, so the cultural exchange, the Kuwaitis are very much like frequent travelers all around the world. So they know, they see, the exchange, and this is where we bring in the products that are available elsewhere. And this, we rely a lot on our partners to do that, because also we work with multinational companies, and they produce, they innovate also globally. The trick here is to get from the list of items that do resonate with the local culture. So this is one part. The other part is the way we innovate or we create trends or we drive demand is through innovation locally. So yes, we work with global partners, but at certain times we bring them on board. We bring their R&D division. So now with the Lavazza, with others also, we bring them here and we let them feel the taste. We let them live for a week here, to go into the shops, to go to the stores, to feel the local feel, to engage with the family, with the locals, and they go back and innovate for the local demand. So we have some practices locally that resonated very well. And when the insight hits the sweet spot, this is where it picks up, and it picked up extremely well. The third part is the Kuwait. Of course, there are lots of challenges, but also there are lots of opportunities. So with our partners, we push them to have Kuwait as a test market for innovation. So I'll give you an example. Perrier. 4 or 5 years back, there was a product called Perrier and Juice. I don't know if some of you are aware of it. Perrier and Juice is a product that was available in Europe. So we saw great merit. You know, it's part of the wellness and well-being of the, which is, again, trends nowadays, low calorie, limited percentage of juice. So we pushed them to come and test it in Kuwait. The results were fantastic. So they were amazed. And now this product or this innovation has been rolled out throughout the GCC, and it was reformulated because of Kuwait, because of the performance that was done in Kuwait, to the whole region. So again, it's a case by case, but there are items where we create demand locally, and there are some imported based on local needs and wants.
What about marketing? Companies like you, when you have so many items, so different products, positioning, pricing, strategies, how do you market? Do you use the same marketing company? Do you use, a different marketing company per product? How do you market yourselves? Gabi?
Actually, in Al Hajri, we have our marketing department, but how we market our brands, you mean?
Yeah, your brands.
So
also.
yeah, so we tend to go. We tend to go more below the line. I mean, in periods like crisis periods like these, it's better go below the line. So this is what we like focusing on these days. Starting from now, we are at Oreca. Oreca is a tool for marketing here. So being there, being highly present there, again, it opens horizons for opens contacts here, you know, with the B2B here. In the market, we work on loads of
social media, or
social media is one of them, definitely. Through the apps of our customers, we do a lot. In the market itself, sampling, tasting, branding. So mostly all what is related promotions, using promoters. Mainly it's we work these days below the line. When it's time of crisis, it's better go below the line. For our major brands like Yomari, like all these big brands that we deal with also here, the above the line comes usually from UAE, like Chupa Chups, Mentos. We have the country manager here with us. So yeah, mainly the above the line comes from their offices in the UAE.
Tony,
with coordination with us here.
Yeah. What about you, marketing?
Everyone, there's no more budget. Actually, this is the situation. If we talk about the marketing, we are all in-house. Before, yes, we use a lot of marketing people, and we have a budget, and you can support. But we'll back to the same point. If the price today, and you are not earning margin behind that because of you are not allowed to increase your prices, from where you want to spend. So that's why everyone is do in-house. So which is the traditional way, the tasting, sampling, e-commerce, and the rest of the things. Of course, when we will be like in Horeca, it's a place to have the image of your product, of your brand. You are available front everyone, front of the chefs, and also they can come and taste. But the rest, it is traditional way, not anymore. If you back to the 70s or the 80s or even in the 90s, it was booming, it was shining. But today is everyone, even the supplier, even the big chain, they shrink the budget. That's why and today they use more or less, like in Kuwait in the past, it's mainly the advertising is the newspaper. So wherever you want to do, you will do it through newspaper. Today, not anymore newspaper. So today they are using the social media, because also they are not watching that much, especially when we talk about young generations today. They are on the social media, either on the mobile or on the iPad or the laptop. So it's totally different way, and money-wise, it's not.
Hani?
I'm gonna take it from the challenging point that Tony started with. So yes, the investments are on a decreasing trend because of the points that we discussed. But we tend to turn this into an opportunity by trying to go into a marketing approach that's more cost effective, I would say. Yes, total budgets are down. That applies to everyone. I think it's not only the region and probably globally nowadays because of the global inflation, not only in Kuwait. But again, it's separate. So when we talk HoReCa, it's something. When we talk retail, it's something different. We, as local partners, we're at the end of the day, we're distributor partners, right? So this is not the core job that we do in terms of marketing the brands that we operate with. It's the principal's job. So we make sure to segregate these two. So when it comes to the brand marketing, it's the job of the principal. And yes, even the principal are cutting down the budgets and going more cost effective. But also our job is to market at point of sale. That's when it comes to retail. So we push to identify opportunities at point of sale, to build equity at point of sale. And this is a game changer for us when it comes to execution, and not from a brand perspective that covers the region. The HoReCa part is different. So to the guy's point, this is one of the marketing tools, the HoReCa event. We do partnerships and collaborations. We go with influencers to try to tackle especially with local ones, to try to tackle the locals and the right target audience. Collaborations are very important. So whenever we work with, we join hands with other companies, with other brands as well, that make sense locally. So these are of course, the digital arena also is very important, and we execute locally within the budgets that we receive as much as possible.
What are your challenges today? As we discussed the pricing, we discussed the categories that are fading, but what other challenges you have in Kuwait?
I mean, besides the price, blocking of the prices since 4 or 5 years, the latest challenge that we're facing now as we stay here, it's the geopolitical challenge. It's the shipment that they're holding for us there in Jeddah and elsewhere in the region. We're incurring loads of delays in the shipments, and this is creating a big out of stock situation here. So hopefully this will be solved very soon.
Tony? Same situation. Hani?
I mean, besides the external, I would say, which is the macroeconomic challenges and the pricing factor, talent remains to be, talent unfortunately remains to be a big challenge in Kuwait. So this is one of the biggest challenge.
Do you import talents, or you use
as much as possible? So now we're moving more into hiring from abroad, but again it's challenging because of the situation locally, with the repercussions of this. But we always try to hire from the country, and this has been again, mostly we're taking from each other. And the talents, the capabilities are there. Everyone knows everyone. So we need fresh people from outside. We need to bring in more talent from outside, and it's been a challenge to do that.
Yeah.
And besides this, when talents reach a level, they feel like, especially the young generation, they feel like they're saturated here in Kuwait. They want to go abroad, and they're eyeing Dubai most of the time, and now Saudi lately. So also we have like talents that are leaving Kuwait to other parts of this region.
Absolutely, and more so another internal challenge I would say is because the markets are not growing, the categories are not growing. So the challenge is how to innovate, how to drive better service level as service providers, how to provide a better service to our customers to drive better customer experience. So this is what we work on nowadays to grow the business. Otherwise, you cannot grow. So again, challenging market, categories declining. We need to find ways to innovate better, to bring in new businesses also that resonates. And last but not least is to be able to provide better customer experience for the customers to do that as well for their own customers.
Is there any products that are missing in the Kuwaiti market? Is there room for a newcomer, or are all of you suppliers with this fierce competition taking everything, all the products that are available? I mean, if someone in the audience wants to create a supply company and introduce some new products. Do you think there is room for that, or it's a saturated market?
I believe always there is a room. In the end, I mentioned one day about why you bring this product or a new product or whatever. It's the same situation when you are in the family at home, and you are 4 brothers. Why they married all of them, and why they want to bring kids? So should be one married, and the rest no need for that. So the same with the product. Always there is
Need.
there is need. Always there is need. But today, even in our sector or any sector, it's not to be copy to the others. So wherever you bring ideas, it's need fashion. In the food, the same as the mobile, the same as the technology or anything, the fashion. They need something new. So today, almost you will go to the supermarket, you will see copies. If you talk about the cheese, you talk about any other products. So whenever you will launch a new product, even in Kuwait today, when they launch a new restaurants, you will see the people, they are online for hours just to taste the product, and then you will see if it is continuously or not. This is the demand. Always it's available. Even the market, it is limited, but the demands, it's always there.
Gabi?
I would say also that there will always be a room, but the problem here, room for like getting new product. But the problem here is like anyone who like starts a concept and it works well with him, then you see tons of people like new entrepreneurs following him, and you see followers here, and then it'll be oversaturated. So this is it. Yeah. Still, there will be room for ideas, but in some areas we're saturated.
My last question before we go to the audience. What is the project you're working on, or the new product, or something that you want to tell us about?
ما في مخبرك.
لا.
خبرنا.
Fierce competition. Or latest one you did.
We're always on the lookout, and we'll always work with our partners to drive new innovation. So yes, there is, again, one of the biggest challenge is to continuously drive innovation and bring in new products to the market. So it's always in the pipeline. Of course, these are still, I cannot reveal what they are, but every year we plan to launch 2 or 3 big products, besides the fact if we want to get a new business on board. But to be able to sustain our base business, we have to do that. You cannot but innovate. But what specifically are the products? I mean,
the last product you launched, for example,
the beverage. I mean, Lavazza, the coffee shops, have been with us for the past 2.5 years, I think, and it's doing fantastically well. So this is a full project on its own, not specifically a product. But within the shops, we continuously create. So every quarter, I think, we innovate new products within the menu. So the menu re-engineering also is done quite frequently. On the retail side as well, we're always on the lookout for new, within the existing portfolio that we have, or the brands that we have. So now inside the Horeca, you see new products for Elevir, for instance, for tea, for coffee, Perrier also. There are lots of coming, many other brands also on non-food side. So every single category that we compete in, we have to get innovation in order to grow. Otherwise, you cannot grow.
Tony?
I'm still in the same concept to grow and to expand my business, and especially La Maison de Fromage. This is my target. So I will not go to waste my time with if there is any, sometimes there is a chance you will say no, but you will get it. But nothing in plan now at the moment. And the same time in farmland, I'm still growing in the same brand, in the same product, which is, for me, it's better to concentrate and to grow where I'm growing today. Because when you will start just loading or overloading a product on the team and the company, also it will take it will take part from the others where you have a room to grow. So that's why this is my strategy.
Gabi?
Actually, in Al Hajr, we keep growing vertically and horizontally, as our colleague Hilhani was saying. So within the brands, new innovations within the brands themselves, and we're expanding in other categories, if you want, and in other brands. But as we speak now, in a couple of days, I might be signing on one of the good brands also here. Talking about the last brand that we introduced in Al Hajri, it was in the retail, and it was a very success story. It was with Perfetti. We partnered like last year with Perfetti, and Perfetti, Mentos, and Chupa Chups. It was in the retail, and we had a great year this year with them, and hopefully we're further developing this operation.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any question? Yeah. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Alex from Royal Hair Hospital. I'm purchase manager of hospitality. Thank you so much for sharing. Actually, three of the the masters. Actually, all of you, our suppliers. Thank you so much. Al Hajri, Farmland, Al Babtain is Masat. Okay. My question actually interesting. One of the talent, what you said by moderator, it is challenging as well, because by moving of talent from one company to another company make us as buyer confusing as well, because they move from one company to another company, and sometimes taking our time also to choose where to follow. Okay, that's one of the challenge as a buyer. But if let's say we are loyal because of the product, the quality of product, wherever they go, we have decision not to go or to go. And the question is, many companies also right now, they are bringing many items. Let's say cheese, Farmland as a cheese, and another vendor as well, they are bringing a cheese. And many now, let's say from 10 companies in Kuwait, probably 6 or 7 companies has a cheese product. So why this happen, and what should we do as a buyer? Okay, maybe not only the cheeses, probably maybe another product as well as coffee or another companies. Thank you. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. That means they follow me. For any successful story, that's what's happened. And even today, when we talk about La Maison de Fromage, let's give an example. It's the first store for retail cheese, and when you go now to the market, you will see how many other companies they start do the same. As also Gabi, he mentioned that, and whatever you will do, they will follow you. So you will make a coffee shop, they will follow you with a coffee shop. You will buy cheese, and they will see there is a demand in the cheese. So wherever they have a successful story in the market, there is many others, they will go and they invest. Sorry to say that no one make a study before he start his business. So they start his business because of the story. They heard, this is the cheese, and we have a good supplier today, and he can give us better prices. But they don't have the knowledge about the product, the knowledge also how to handle the product, how to serve the product, how to manage the business. So they will come to the market for at least maybe 6 months, 1 year, and then later they will disappear. So this is what happened in Kuwait, and it's not something new. This is Kuwait since years.
I will tell you, follow follow the quality and the service. So who gives you the best quality and the best service, you have to follow. This is what, if I'm in your case, I'll do the same. Good choice.
No, but we're also facing the same challenge. So talent is across the industries. So yes, you see different salespeople. Maybe today you see someone from Mas'ad coming. Tomorrow is the same guy is going to come from wearing the Hajri hat. But also we face the same challenge. So the purchasing managers also are moving from one company to the other. So it's a country challenge, not an industry specific challenge. But I agree with Gabi. Follow service, follow quality, and whoever can innovate and drive more, add value to your business, this is where you need to keep on going with.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for accepting my question. A couple of days ago in the news, it came that, Kuwait is accepting big companies to come to Kuwait without any sponsor. So if all the big brands can come in this way, how will it negatively impact your company and what will be your reaction to it? And secondly, I'm an entrepreneur, part-time, doing online business. There's one challenge which you are facing, especially in the retail sector, is now what's available in Kuwait, or also the Chinese companies, they are directly marketing to the Kuwaiti population in a much cheaper and in a much faster way. Like if I'm buying clothes now from H&M and all, those same alternatives are available on companies like Shein, and now Temu, it's coming online, and which is much cheaper and much faster also. So how can we overcome these challenges? Do you think the government should implement something to stop this scenario? At the moment, it's in the retail sector. Maybe it can come to the food also as
well. To answer your first question, it's quite a sensitive topic nowadays. But I mean, we're into the distribution, 3 companies. So the opening up of the mother company coming and running alone in the country, yes, it's a risk to our business. But being in the business now, I think 3 of us, and even the top 10 will tell you, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't do it, specifically in Kuwait, because of the different challenges that we've been discussing for the past hour. And I don't think this is going to happen unless there should be a criteria set. If the guys are thinking rationally to come and take over our business or our line of business, it needs to be humongous. And I mean by humongous, it needs to have tens of millions of KDs worth of business alone to be able to come and deal with it. There are other challenges also for this factor, that usually big companies, multinational companies, they have very strict policies and procedures that they need to follow, which if they're going to come in, and we know there are some companies that have done that, so they were not waiting for the new regulations to happen, but they've got a big hit. I'm not going to mention names, but big brands who went on their own in Kuwait, their business dropped by around 30 to 40%. And it turned out from the headquarters that it was a very bad decision. So we, for sure, and I speak on behalf of all of us, we don't favor this decision, not because of we're worried about losing business, but the businesses that we've built for the past decades, they're going to be ruined, and we have big examples of that. Your second question, I think it applies to not the food or the FMCG sector. So trust me, Kuwait is the cheapest in the region when you go to the supermarket, basically because for the past decade we're not able to increase prices. So the price variation between us and other GCC countries and other countries also in the region is at least 30% cheaper, and this is a challenge that we're facing locally. So continue going to the co-ops, you'll get the best prices, don't worry.
I want to touch on the point that Hani made earlier, that Kuwait relies heavily on imports, 90%, I think you said. So my question is that something that is likely to remain the case going forward? Do you think there's room for local entrepreneurship and made in Kuwait products? Is there a lack of local production that is an untapped market. And do you, as suppliers, sorry, there's multiple levels, but do you encourage local entrepreneurship and local producers, or do you gravitate towards the big brands because you feel that they are what people are looking for here?
So the answer is yes to all of the questions. But the last question, to pick it up from there. So the reason why, to your point, I mean, more than 90%, I think maybe more than 95 even, of the food consumed is imported. So it makes economic sense for our companies to go this way. Now, do we encourage, do we favor, do we want local production to happen with a unique, differentiated product? Of course, yes. Would love that, because it will drive the country also to innovate and bring Kuwait back to where it is, or where it was also when it comes to innovation. And now the big question is which category they want to go into, which innovation stream, because it's becoming also globally extremely difficult to innovate. Again, what are the measures the country provides when it comes to production hub, so versus other countries in the region? So many questions arise. So why would something, even local families, even local businesses, why would they open in Kuwait versus other neighboring countries where they provide more incentives? So all these questions, I'm sure the people responsible here are working hard to address these points. But it remains to be quite challenging. That's why you don't see, for the past at least decade, a big local production, if you want, a boom in this area versus other markets. However, we would love to see that in the coming few years. And I think now with the direction and the discussions that we've been hearing in the market and between the local players, that there is tendency to open this towards more incentives and we will be the first also to invest in this area.
The other problem is also the economies of scale. I mean, here in Al Hajri, we encourage lots of our partners which produce in the region. They produce here in Saudi, sometimes in UAE. So we encourage them a lot to come and produce in Kuwait. I have one of my major suppliers. He's producing in close by here in Dammam. And we keep telling them, come, we will offer you the opportunity to, and we'll partner with you to open in Kuwait. But the problem is the economies of scale. When they produce there, just the half of the, I mean, if you go Saudi market, we're like a tiny area in Saudi here. We're 3 millions, 4 millions versus 35 millions. Start from there. And there they have facilities to export, So this is the main problem here. We tried a lot with our partners, but again, economies of scale is a big challenge. Thank you very much.